Hello, hello. I'm so glad that you're here today. I'm going to be going live here and on TikTok. This is more of like an open kind of chill Q&A where we just hang out, we talk about Gene Keys, and I have some really groovy fun offers that I'm doing this summer to get you into the world of the Gene Keys. And really everything in my life started changing once I started applying these Gene Keys to my life, to my business. And it's really that feeling of, I don't know if you ever took one of those cosmopolitan quizzes whenever you were younger. I'm going to get this started over here too. But if you ever took one of those cosmopolitan quizzes when you were younger that told you more about yourself, because like if you speak human design or gene key profiles, I'm a 5-2. So sometimes the twos don't always know what their natural strengths and gifts are just like right off the bat. And so through these gene keys, it was like taking one of those quizzes that tells you everything about yourself that you're like, oh my God, I didn't even see that thing, or I hadn't even been using this as my superpower and as my gift in my business. And so once you start recognizing like what your absolute unicorn is, you can really start standing out in your niche and just knowing who you are on a deeper level while you attract clients and make money. So like that's the best thing about these gene keys. So I don't talk about them in just the average bear way of like, hey, these are about contemplation and this is like you need to think on it. Like, yeah, of course, you're going to have a lot of groovy things come whenever you sit there and you think about the different understandings of these gene keys. And like I've known these for over a year now, and I've like taught them and like retaught them like 4 or 5 times, and they get deeper and deeper as they go. But I'm going to tell you what, there is some freaking majesty and magic that happens whenever you actually apply this wisdom and you take it and you run with it instead of just being like, I'm going to sit in a tree all day and do whatever the heck I want with this information. You instead get up and run with it. And I really want to dive into one of the most interesting things that I've found about my gene keys lately. And before, I've talked about how you can brand yourself and how you can create content using these gene keys. And if that's something that you want to learn more about, by the way, because I used to be somebody that I knew I had all of this stuff up in my brain, right? I knew I had like learned all this stuff. I knew that I had things to teach, but it was almost like it did not compute whenever it came to me actually showing up and creating content. And so I created a masterclass. Hello, Wendy. I created a masterclass that I recorded last week that if you are just knowing that you want to get those creative juices going and flowing in your online business, this is going to be the perfect masterclass for you. This is part of my summer initiative to get as many people in the Gene Key world as possible. We have so many fun things happening, especially like this month of July. And so right now on the link in my bio, I have that 2-part pre-recorded masterclass, and you get an hour of Voxer voice note one-to-one coaching with me, which is like banana pants crazy, but I'm just like, let's change people's lives. Like, let's change people's businesses. And I really want to work with people and learn like, what are the things that you want to know about the gene keys? And truly, like for me, I was teaching the gene keys, but it's almost like peeling back layers of the onion where I start using them more and more and more as time goes on in my actual business. And that changes everything. So if you are somebody that has been wanting just like another set of eyes on your online business, just to give that creative punch, make sure you go sign up for that. It's $120 for 2 kick-ass masterclasses that have been recorded. And like while I was recording them, I literally felt like a fire moving through me. It was so exciting. And it's really, really weird because I decided to make this masterclass, this double masterclass. It was kind of like on a whim, but it had been stirring and purring in my system for a while. And the weirdest thing about it is I had been practicing like doing short form content on Instagram for about a month and a half, where it was just like tweets and it was just like these hot takes, these quick ideas. And I like literally in between the 2 days that I recorded it, Threads came out. And so like one of the days is basically about like ideas for Threads. So it's really freaking crazy. Human design is what started my awakening and led to me really learning to love myself. I love hearing that. Isn't it so cool? Brandy Yates and I were on a live together yesterday. And I love the way, if you haven't found her yet, or her, or even Tangi, the feel good expert, they are so incredibly intelligent when it comes to human design. And like, I feel like I know a lot about it, but I always learn something even more from them. And so they're really good people to like continue learning about human design from. You'll pull your chart. So you'll pull our chart and we'll talk on Voxer about it. Yeah, Nicole, hey, I'm glad you're here. Yay. Nicole is coming to our online event on Saturday. I am so freaking excited. Yes, me, Brandy, Kelsey, the manifesting scientist, will be talking, and Pearl Cece, who will be talking about mindset and health, like all the best things that you can use for your business. Yes, I'll probably sign up for this too. Nicole, this is like such a no-brainer. Yes, I'm just like, let's get as many kick-ass business owners in on this as possible, because it's so much fun to sit here and have these conversations with people. Like, and I'm like, I had this idea the other day. I'm like, it'd be really weird if I put in my bio, like, I change your life in 1 hour, because that sounds really sexual. But that's how I feel whenever I do these like hour-long Voxer, these like little spurts. Like, I don't usually offer them that often, but when I do, it's like absolute magic. Yeah, I'll change your life in an hour. It's so much fun though, because sometimes, like, I know for me, like, I ended up working with a business coach right out of the gates whenever I decided to sell my lavender company, and I went full pull in my online business. And like, to most people that would be banana pants crazy, and it kind of was, but like, I have the 15th gene key, so I'm kind of weird and all over the place anyways. But like, that's all about walking on the wild side. But what I learned was like, it was so beneficial to have an extra set of eyes on my business to help me see things that I couldn't see, or give me suggestions that I didn't even know existed. I felt this very strongly whenever I was teaching. I had a Keys to Confidence course that I was teaching last month. And like, I just tried to jam pack it full of all of this wisdom for these people who are like rebranding their business or like really starting their online business, because it's questions that, like, if you've done it for a while, you think everybody knows the answer to, but you don't realize, like, people just need that one little thing to spark an idea, and they're like, okay, I'm gonna go buck wild with this. Like, I'm gonna go crazy. So yes, that is $120 for that incredible masterclass that you get. It's already pre-recorded, ready to go for you today. And then we schedule a one-on-one 60-minute Voxer session. I love coaching. Like, I don't usually call it coaching, but like, I think of myself as a little activator, like a little genie that comes in and out of your life. And like, truly, it's so much fun, because whenever we have somebody to like bounce creative ideas off of, it just, I don't know about you, but I'm one of those people. Like, if you have a line 2 or a line 3 in your human design profile, you do really well with biofeedback. And so, no, I'm actually not a projector. I know a lot of projector peeps, but no, it's funny. I was thinking about projectors this morning, because I feel like a lot of the people that I know that teach human design end up being projectors. Now that I'm thinking about it, I know a good mix of them actually, but I am actually a generator. But I was telling Brandy yesterday, thank you. I was telling Brandy yesterday that I identify as a manifesting generator, because I'm one gate off from being a manifesting generator. And that little guy, that's the 5th one. So that's like the 5th gene key, the 5th human design gate. And so that's all about rhythms and tempo and routines. And so whenever I plug into routine in my life, I feel that manifesting generator energy come up. And it's very interesting. I have a lot of clients that are manifesting generators, and I grew up with a mom and a stepdad who were both manifesting generators. And I think I just learned how to navigate life through that way. And of course, I don't always have to be in the manifesting generator energy, but I understand it on a very deep level. You're a generator too. That's so awesome. Yes. I love being a generator, because like, you are just this supercomputer with your intuition. Like, sometimes I don't even realize that I'm responding to things, because it's just so lickety split. It's so that fast that it's just like, oh, that's what I was doing. So I've almost been like paying attention this past week, especially because I tell Brandy and stuff, I'm like, yay, we have a new student. Was that you that signed up, Nicole? I can't wait for our one-to-one. This is going to be so fun. Oh my gosh. This is going to be so much fun. And truly, like, if Nicole, if that was you that signed up, you like this is going to be a blasty blast week. Like in between the event that's on Saturday, the online business retreat, and then like you getting the keys to content masterclass, and our one-to-one, we're gonna have so much fun. So Nicole just signed up, and you know what, Nicole? Oh wait, you already got that. You already got this special little recording of the life's work too that I sent you. Oh my gosh. So anybody who signs up for this $120 double masterclass that's pre-recorded in the 60-minute one-to-one with me. So it's all bundled together. I will send you a life's work Gene Key little lesson that I pre-recorded. So Nicole, I have other little special things that I'm a big like over deliverer. Like, I don't know about you, but I worked with a business coach. I work with Bridget James Ling, and she's like a little spitfire. She's a firecracker. And she was always big on like over delivering. And I absolutely loved that because it's so different than what we learn about like boundaries. And it's whenever you actually are over delivering from a place that you love. So like I have all of these things in my back pocket that I've like recorded over the past year that like I love bopping a little bit of extra fun on somebody, or like anytime you join one of my courses, there's usually time for us to have like a one-on-one special space together. And so like Bridget and I met up in Vancouver. We were going to a business retreat together, and she like paid for me to get my hair done while we were together. And so like I've always been so passionate about over delivering and not doing it from a place that drains me at all, but doing it from a place that like genuinely lights me up. I always tell people, I'm like, don't fluff the pillows unless you genuinely love fluffing pillows. Like, don't make cookies for somebody unless you genuinely love making cookies for somebody, and it's going to like light up your soul. So make sure you go sign up for that double masterclass, because I'm probably just going to bring that in and out throughout July. It's part of the no-brainer summer. But yes, I love all you manifesting generators. Oh, you're a 4-6. Danako, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I just did another post about force today over on my Instagram that was talking about like how you can feel whenever you're posting. So I have so much fun channeling those different messages out for like, because to me, the Gene Key and human design lines, the profile lines, they're married. Like in my mind, they're married, and like the Gene Keys just takes it a little deeper. The Gene Keys just takes it that much further. So in that Keys to Content masterclass, I talk about that in the first day as well. Oh, I can't wait to send you that stuff, Nicole. I'm so excited. We're going to have so much fun. Manifesting generators. Wendy, I always say this is like my favorite thing to say to manifesting generators. And this needs to continuously be like reiterated for manifesting generators, because you guys are so like, you really have like these magical squirrel brains. That's what I call it, the magical squirrel brain, where like you have so many different things, so many different threads that you could pull on at any time. And I was actually having this conversation with a one-on-one client the other day where I was like, literally picture yourself, like if you're ever confused on like where to go next, like picture yourself floating in space, and you have all of these different choices in front of you, and they all have a thread that runs to them. And I want you to just take that deep breath in and be honest with yourself. Is there a thread that you feel like you're pulling on, or you feel like you need to do that thing just because you know it, or just because you feel responsible that you're supposed to teach that? Because for me, this is just an example from my life. For me, I used to think that because I was really good at helping people through shadow work and through emotional body coding, that that's what I had to do, that I had to pull people out of the trenches. And actually, I had to realize that I can be a light in my own way. I can be a jar full of sunshine for people, and I can actually help people go from having a good life to a great life. I don't have to do that work just because I know how to do it. If that doesn't light my soul up, I need to do the thing and focus all of my energy on the things that I absolutely love. So now I help people be creative and come to life in their business so they can attract clients and make money through the lens of these Gene Keys. And so while you're sitting there, is there one of those threads that you have been feeling like you've been tugging on or pulling close to you, like out of, well, I know that, so I should be doing that, instead of like, what is the ring a ding ding thread that's like truly lighting you up, that makes you feel creative, that makes you feel excited, that scares you, that feels out of your comfort zone. Because I'm a big believer, like this is a David Bowie quote, and I'll zoom back down to everybody's messages. I'm just like on my little rampage of talking. I like, there's this video of David Bowie. I love David Bowie, not just for being the Goblin King, but like, who had a crush on the Goblin King, by the way? I know I'm not the only one. But he talked about the fact that like an artist, and I think about this as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, the best place they can be is out floating in the water with their feet barely touching the sand. Like whenever you're like barely touching and you're in a place that's unknown, that's different, like that is the most beautiful place to be. So I've even done that recently in my life, where I organized this online business retreat that we're doing on Saturday. And I've never done that before. You know what I mean? I was out of my comfort zone putting that together, but that doesn't mean that you let the fear of something that scares you keep you from doing something incredible. Because what I realized was I ended up gathering up a whole gaggle of different business owners that taught different modalities that were all going to come together on Saturday and be able to teach people from the comfort of their own home. Like that is the grooviest thing. And it scared the living daylights out of me. But here we are leading up to it. And I'm like, Stephanie, of course you're capable. So I always challenge manifesting generators. I'm like, instead of the shoulds, what is the thing that's lighting you up? And then lastly, with the manifesting generators, I'm big on, I've heard it explained through the idea of like, you have to have like one umbrella that your business is, but then you can have lots of little subtopics underneath it. That's a really good visual. Or I'm kind of like, I'm kind of like a cosmic nerd sometimes. Like I literally picture like you have all of these different things that you love, and it's almost like shooting the laser beam of all of these things that you love through one crystal, like through one prism. And so it's like, how do you take fitness and blend it with human design? How do you take interior design and health and mix them together? Like, what is your main focus? And all these other things that you love or that you're good at, the ones that you're like, ooh, that feels like it would benefit my business, shoot that light through there. So I'm going to scroll that down. Oh, look, oh, I'm so excited. Da-da-da-da. Hi, Jamie. You give a jar full of sunshine vibes. Thank you so much. I very much appreciate it. Oh, Liv's a manifesting generator too. I'm telling you, I'm a magnet for manifesting generators. Like even my business coach was a manifesting generator. My parents, my clients. I work with other people too, but it's like one of those things that I can't ignore lately. I'm like, there's a lot of this. Thank you, Wendy. I appreciate that. Ooh, Steph. Okay, first, love the name. I feel like there's so many groovy Stephs that I'm getting to know now that I like teach online. I'm like, there's so many cool Stephs in this world. I was this is just like a side tangent, but I feel like I was at the end of the Stephanie name being popular. So like while there was lots of Ashleys and Brittany's and Courtney's in my school, I was like the only Stephanie at that time. So now I'm like coming to this world with all these other Stephanies. I'm like, I love this. All these other Stephanies, but you are a 5-1. Let me take a drink real quick. I live with a 5-1. And so I'm very familiar with the energy, and I'm a 5-2. So like I observe the 5-1 and like the things that make us the same and the things that make us different. And so you're confused about the direction of your human design. Okay. So, and I don't really see a lot of 5-1s being projectors either. So like already right out of the gate, like I feel like adding that in your bio, if you haven't already, is going to make you stand out, because like so many times I think we try to be like, I know I used to do this. We try to be for everybody. And like, matter of fact, like we are not for everybody. And I know it can feel scary sometimes. So like really, I know people talk about it's good to niche down, it's bad to niche down, but really like whenever you can talk to a smaller group of people, that's how like it really makes them feel like, oh my God, I'm seen. Oh my God, like I feel heard. Like this person is speaking directly to me in this piece of content that they've made. And so being that 5, like this is like my own what I've learned is like you're going to be somebody that whenever you're fully confident in your own opinions, even if it feels a little shaky at first, even if it feels a little uncomfortable at first, like your opinions are going to be what attracts the right clients to you. And so, like, there's an element whenever you have this five energy of really being able to step up on your soapbox and be unapologetically you. And, like, if you're somebody that's been a people pleaser before, that can feel a little shaky. That can feel a little uncomfortable to, like, put yourself out there and to be zazzy and be a little spicy. But truly, like, the world needs both sides of you. You're kind of like a sour patch kid, you know? Sometimes you're sour, sometimes you're sweet. But this was like the biggest thing for me too, being a five. And I feel like I've been channeling this message like while I've been hanging out in the shower, because there's times where I'm like, ooh, like, does this feel like I'll have like an idea for a post, right? And I'll be like, oh my gosh, does this feel like too mean? Or does this feel too like be like kind of like being a bitch, right? And what I've really come to understand is like, what the right line is. You're emotionally intelligent, you are intuitively intelligent, and you know when something feels good and when something doesn't. So we can just like cross that out of our brain from the very start, right? And this goes for everybody, whether you're a 5-1 or not. Like, I just want you to understand that. But the fives, we're meant to be polarizing. We're meant to be like a hell yes or a hell no kind of person for our right audience. And what I very much was like channeling through, and I've had it come through multiple times, so I know it to be true, is the fact that like you can have the best product in the world, right? But if you're not grabbing the attention of the people that need it and having that hello, wake up kind of tagline, like they're not going to find you. So there's a part of us like, yes, you can do the energetic work. Like, I'm all about energetic work. I love mindset work. Like, I'm here for it. But also, like, we have to take action in alignment with that mindset. And so whenever you're taking action, you're saying like, I'm willing to be bold. I'm willing to do things that are uncomfortable, that are making me stretch, that are making me learn what my values are on a different level. And when I do that, I attract the right kind of clients into my life because they're like, ooh, I love what you're saying. With that one energy, Steph, you are somebody, so I'm a 5-2, you're a 5-1. You are going to go get the logic and the information and like actually dig deep. I love to think about the ones as like Google / an archaeologist. Like, the rest of us are just like flying by the seat of our pants. And like, you actually have wisdom that you've gobbled up that you get to share with the rest of us. And that's very, very valuable. So you have to see what you have is very, very valuable. Just because somebody can Google it or read about it does not mean that they're going to. So don't think, this is a big thing with fives too. Don't think that for a second, just because it's out there, that everybody knows it. Like, I talk about this in my Keys to Content masterclass that I have up in my link right now. Like, don't underestimate the power of content, because something that you think is not a big deal, something that you're like, well, like everybody knows what that is. Like, that's going to change somebody's life. And I don't know about you, but like, there's been so many times that I have said, or I have read something and I have seen something, but it took about 86 times for it to really click in my brain and make sense. So you get to be that delivery person for that message that feels like that feels like, I call the fives, like, we have lickety split wisdom. Like, we already got the kitchen dirty, and like, here's the freaking cupcake. Here's your red velvet, delicious covered in sprinkles cupcake. Like, would you like it or would you not? Like, it's either for people or it's not. And so I love being a 5 because it's given me the permission to make quicker content. Like, if you go over on my Instagram, this is a perfect example. And whether you're a 5 or not, like, I feel like this is like giving you the go signal that not everything has to be so, like, you can bring value and you can tell stories in shorter form content First, I want to say that like there is an importance to value content. There is an importance to this educational content and to your story, but also there's ways that we can do it that feel shorter and sweeter and quicker to our energy. And so I was trying to make all of this content. Let me know if you've related with this stuff. I was trying to make all this content that was so into all of my feelings and all the ooey gooey center of the Tootsie Pop. And like, I experienced this and all this blah, blah, blah. And like, that's not how I thrive. Like us fives have like a little bit of mystery to us. Like as crazy as I am, like, yeah, there's a little bit of mystery to me. There's a little bit of mystery to you. It's like, but how did they get their results? How did they do this thing? And so whenever you deliver your wisdom in a quick and easy way, it's going to feel so good to your energy. And so I've been utilizing that through like memes, through like the tweet posts. And it's really funny how like threads came out like the month and a half after I had been practicing this on Instagram, even though everything I had learned from before and tried to implement before was all like really long form posts to give value. I feel so much more excited because I'm like, my ideal client speaks in memes. Like that's just true. Like I found out that like I was trying to create content from being this like prim and proper business coach, but like that's not who I am. Like one of my gene keys is called the comedian. And that's actually the radiance gene key. It's where I shine. It's where my physical health shines. And so I was like not using any humor and not like being goofy. And like I am a weirdo. Like I'm a total weirdo. And I wasn't honoring that side of me. And so now I'm just going freaking meme crazy, like random thought crazy over on threads. And it feels so good to my energy that I have all of the oomph I need to show up on these lives and feel really good rather than sitting there for like an hour and trying to write out this big long novella of a post. I get to just drop these. Like I could come up with like 10 plus posts a day and still have more. Like that's how crazy these gene keys have just like turned on all of my creative engines. So I hope that helps, Steph, with being that 5-1, being willing to stand up and be the leader. Like there's a bit of a lone wolf energy to this. And I don't think that that's a bad thing. I think that, and this goes for anybody building a business, like whenever you start taking this seriously, you will have to turn your eye away from certain distractions and decide what it is that feels good to you that's going to help you build your business. Now, I don't mean you have to like not ever watch TV because like I'm so like I love a good funny show after I've been working during the day. Like that reboots my energy. Like I love fantasy books. I'm on the last book of the Throne of Glass series right now. And like there was a while whenever I started my business where like all I did was read about business and like that's all I focused on. But like after you get over that initial hump, like you really come to understand that like these other things in your life are like whenever you think about them that way, like if Ted Lasso feels nourishing to your soul, it makes you laugh. It's really funny and it makes you feel good so that the next day when you wake up for your business, like you feel happy. Like start to see things that way. So I kind of went on like a really fun tangent stuff, but I have a couple new messages down below. So I'll catch up with everybody. Thank you for your patience, you guys. I like I said, I love over delivering and I love sharing this on like a deep level so that it can be understood, Like I don't like that whenever I came across the gene keys, it felt like I was like, why is no one making content about this? And like, why does it feel kind of like cryptic and like gatekeepy? Like, and I know that like that's not exactly how it was intended, but that's how it felt for me. I was like, where is Gene Keys for Dummies? Where is like a guide of how I can apply them, not just what they mean? So like I even did a post today where I was talking about it. I was like, I could post about gene key charts all day long and teach you all day long, but that would bore the heck out of me. That would literally be soul sucking work for me. And what I do instead is I am a living example and I teach other people how to be this living example of what it means whenever you start applying these gene keys to your business so you can attract clients and make money. It's dancing. I love it. It moves spirit through me like no other, but hard to do in front of people. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like, Wendy, if this is about like showing up online too, the greatest thing that we can do is stretch our talents. The greatest thing, the greatest gift that we can give ourselves is to put ourselves in that uncomfortable position where you're just like, I'm scared. I've never done this before, but like something in my heart, there's a fire there and there's something that's drawing me near, and I'm not going to let fear keep me small any longer. And so I used to hate getting on lives. I would have rather walked into the pool with my clothes on. Like I wanted to throw my phone into a river, and I knew I needed to do it. And on the other side of doing the things that scared me, I've developed into this business owner that like I didn't even know was possible in such a short amount of time. So it's really beautiful. You hate your job right now. Oh, you have just a little carrot for a name. Well, I mean, I'm going to give it to you straight. If you don't like your job right now, like there just has to be something that you're like, what do I love? And I'm not saying like up and leave your job right now at this very moment, but like, what can you do to get the wheels spinning in motion for what you do love? Like, because I'm a big believer that whenever we put our focus on something and we say, like, this is really important to me. So if you just like feed this to your brain, like, hey, I want a job that I'm obsessed with, that I make money from my soul's gifts, that it feels really good, that I combine my passion with what it is I'm good at. And you literally make this a focus in your brain, and you're just like always looking for solutions instead of the problems. Like, what is the next solution to this? What is the next right move for me? Because all it is, it's going to be you laying one brick after the next, after the next. You don't have to have all of the answers now. Like whenever I sold my lavender company, I was a lavender farmer. I made all natural products. Whenever I sold it, I didn't know exactly what I was going to do with my online business, but like I had a calling that I couldn't ignore anymore. And so what I did was just like show up and start posting every day, start getting on video. And even though it sucked, even though it was like uncomfortable, because like a lot of times whenever you go after the things that are really for your soul, like you're going to have that moment of discomfort that you have to move through that hump so that you can be like, oh, here I am. I landed here. Like, because anytime we shake up our life, like there's going to be that moment of like, oh, I'm not comfortable. It's like ripping off the blanket whenever it's chilly outside, or like jumping into a pool full of cold water. It's like, that feels crazy. But on the other side of it, you get all of the benefits. So I would just say feed it to your brain that like this is what you want. And like now you have your eyeballs open, and things will come up. Whenever you have your eyeballs open and you're ready, like the right ideas will come through. I'm not even saying like wait for a sign from the universe, because like I am not your girl to talk about angel numbers anymore, energy updates, or Mercury retrogrades. Like that was the stuff of my past. I don't focus on that stuff anymore. Like if that is what you love, then that is what you love. But I'm very much like I'm connected to God. I'm connected to the quantum field, and that is where everything lies. And so whenever I decide something is important, I have that urge for a reason, first and foremost. But second, like the answer will move through me. The answer will move through me. I don't even have to look around. It will move through me. Oh, you're 32 as well, Steph? So am I. So am I. Oh my gosh. Yay. We're both 32. Definitely a fear of rejection. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm catching up on all of these. So thank you for your patience. There's definitely a fear of rejection, but I've learned that I'll be protected. Yeah. You don't have to take it personal, Steph. Yeah. Isn't that such a beautiful thing? Oh, Nicole, you're a 5-1 as well. Oh, everybody's just getting all the juice they need today. But it's so true. Like, and I don't think it's just an age thing. I think it's like a when you're ready thing. You hear these messages and you're like, you know what? I just don't care anymore. I don't care what other people have to say about me, because the most important thing is getting my message to the people that need it. Like, it's been very interesting. I used to bring all of my Instagram posts over to my Facebook as well. And I've been like having some different feelings about Facebook lately. I host some of my courses on there where like people can go back and watch them, but like almost like where it's mostly just like old friends and family and people that I went to school with, stuff like that. And I'm like, this is not who my message is curated for. And like, they don't need to see that side of my life. They like, I'm not concerned about even like having that Facebook page up and going really anymore, because I'm like, the more I focus my energy on who it is that needs what I have to say, the more beautiful my business becomes. Yeah. And exactly, like, you don't take it personally because you're speaking to the people that need what you have. Nah. So yes, if you would like that one-to-one coaching hour along with the 2-part pre-recorded masterclass, $120. Like, literally insane. I have today on the link in my bio. And so we have a Voxer voice note session where it's basically like you get to ask your business questions. We get to creatively riff around your gene keys and how you can use them best to attract clients and call in money in your business. So I'm so excited. Nicole, we're going to have so much fun. Yes. So make sure that you sign up for that, because I don't usually offer things like this. This is part of my my initiative this summer to get as many people as possible in this gene key world, because I know what a difference that it made in my life having this information. And like, I know not everybody wants to learn it to the extent that I did. So like, I love to deliver it in that lickety split way where it's like, you don't have to spend months and months and months learning this stuff if you don't want. Like, I'm just going to tell you what you need to know and use my intuition as well so that you can go happily along your way in your business and go thrive. Like, that is what I love. That is what I love. Super helpful. Learn about but lost on gene keys. Yeah. And if you are somebody that like, you do want to learn about the actual gene keys, like, I think it's probably going to be 3 or 4 times a year. I have a Decode Your Keys course where I deliver that information in a quick, easy, potent way. Like, some of the classes will be recorded that I've already recorded before. And then it's just like every time I run it, we just like keep adding on more and more, and you're in it for life. So that's a really cool thing too. If you're somebody that's like, okay, like I want to learn how to do this too. Like, I offer that quite a bit. So just make sure you're over on my Instagram too, because I got lots of stuff. Lots of stuff. Hi, Kai. You're 4/6 emotional projector. Oh my gosh. I truly love these 4s lately. And I feel like I hadn't worked with a lot of 4s at first. And lately I've been working with more people that have the 4. And it's been really cool to see these people that have like this head of the table energy, but they almost don't see it in themselves. And like, you're that person whenever you walk into a group, people just look at you and they see you as a leader. They see you as somebody that has a message for them. And I love Kai telling these 4s that like, whenever you lead your message with your big squishy heart, like, you are somebody that thrives talking about emotions. And then of course you're an emotional projector as well. So like, that does really well for you. And it's like, it's almost like you would do so good, like documenting, you know, how emotional authorities have like that 24-hour cycle. I know, because my husband has one. So I'm always like, you do you for a little bit. Like, you do your thing, because I'm a non-emotional. But it's one of those things, it's almost like you get out your notes app and you just like document the things that you're feeling. And then you grab, like, in that 24-hour cycle, and then you grab the most important, juiciest thing. And that's what you create content on. And again, I'm going to tell people, like, whenever you're a projector, like, you're going to do really well by broadcasting the fact that you're a projector, because other projectors are probably going to want to work with you. Like, I feel like the projector community is so like locked in with each other, because they're like, you understand me, like the little Spider-Man memes. They're all just like pointing at each other. So like broadcasting that you're a projector is going to be a really beautiful thing. Like I think it's called the manifester community. And I think that she only makes content for manifestors. And like it brings in all the right people to her because she's speaking directly to those manifestors. So bringing in the projector vibe with whatever it is that you're passionate about, with like these archetypes from your gene keys, and really understanding that you lead with this more emotional side of you, sharing the pain, sharing the pleasure. Like people want in on that big squishy heart of yours and they want to learn from you. And like there's something about you whenever people work with you that they feel like wrapped up in a cocoon. They feel like held. They feel easier because they have your support. Like it's almost like a mama bear energy. Like you're like, come to me, child. I'm going to take care of you. Looking forward to figure out more of what lights me up. Oh my gosh, Nicole, I'm so excited. These one-to-ones that I've been having have just been like earth shaking in the best way possible. And I get so excited because everybody leaves with like a game plan of like, holy crap, now I know what I'm doing. Well, Barrett Studio Art. I love it, but I'm not productive anymore. Yeah. And like I said, that's just whenever you open your brain to the new thing. It really does get to be that simple. You know, whenever we just decide that we're ready for something new, we get to just say like, hey, I've been reading this book lately. It's like a popular one. It's by Robert Russell. He's more like, if you would see his books from the outside, you'd be like, oh, those are really religious. And they're actually not. It's all about like really understanding God through like this form of like, it's the energy all around us. And it's been talking about like substance, like there's all of this juicy substance. So like, this is how I picture my life now. Like anytime I'm like having a random thought, I stop myself and I'm like, I'm surrounded by this substance that every time I have a thought, it like impresses like wax and like one of those things that you would put to like mold it on a letter. Like, so I'm constantly like imprinting on that wax that is this real world. I know that sounds like crazy, but like whenever you just like put it out there into this substance, into your brain that's connected to the substance, like I'm ready for something that lights me up and excites me, like you will move correctly. I'm not one of those people that play around with this game of am I or am I not intuitive? Like I spent way too much money taking courses for people to tell me that I was intuitive for years and years, rather than just believing in my intuitive gifts for that long time. And you can just like cut your time and your development in half whenever you just know that like when you ask, you receive. Oh my gosh, Kai. Yes. I'm so glad that you liked the story from before, because I had somebody in my Keys to Confidence course say that this last week. She's like, and like, it's one of those things that I guess I say it so often that I thought that everybody knew, but like, I was so scared to go live. Like I used to literally shake and sweat through my all natural deodorant and literally feel like I wanted to throw up and transfer into a different dimension rather than get on lives. And like, now I enjoy it. Now, like I love hanging out here and I love answering questions, but like there was the uncomfortable moments in it, of course, where I was like, does anybody care about what I'm saying? There was a long time where like I was doing Instagram lives where I was literally talking to the cricket family that lived outside of my window. I often say the cricket family, but really there's like, I'm on the second floor and there's like a pigeon family. There's like a little pigeon family. So I guess I'm talking to them too. They were just like listening to me for months and months while my voice got strong, while I started believing myself, while I started learning how to like teach lessons online. And I just got so confident in my voice so quickly. And I just realized that, like, on the other side of all of the things that scare us, whether it's investing in yourself, whether it's being brave and standing up on social media, whether it's like getting into that health routine that's going to benefit your business in the long run, because I'm a big believer in like our health is connected to how we show up in our business. But whatever it is, on the other side of all those things, you're still alive. Like that's what I've learned this year. Like I've done so much stuff that scared the living daylights out of me. Like signed up for business retreats, done all the things and traveled to places I've never been. And I'm like still living, like I'm still here and I'm breathing and I'm happier than I've ever been before because I decided to do the things that scared me. And so I love sharing that. And I'm glad that helps you too, because I know how good it feels whenever I'm working on things constantly every single day in my life, my mindset, my business. That is what I do. This is what I'm here for. I am obsessed with my work, and I want to have as much joy and fun while I do it as humanly possible. And so I love it. I love it because I love to teach people how to make money doing the things that they love so that they feel fulfilled and can also create a kick-ass life for themselves, right? And so I love also like listening to people. I have this course that I took this summer that was like, it was already pre-recorded, and it was like, it was just, it felt groovy. It felt right. And I was like, I love this. And so I go on my runs in the morning and I do my Pilates and I go take a shower, and then I sit down with my coffee and I broadcast this course onto my screen. And anytime that this woman goes into her backstory and tells about like, because she was somebody that had like over 100 people in this launch of this course, right? And it was like over $1,000 course, and she had over 100 people sign up, and how she like really quantum leapt from like smaller courses to like having all of these people come into her world. But she will tell stories about her background, about where she started, and it's like, oh my God, I just needed that little bit to remind me, to keep me going. Like, and there's stages of it every time you grow. And whenever we hear somebody else's story, it's like, yes, it's just another permission slip. Like if they did it, like, heck yes, I can do it. Like if they did it, like there's no reason why on this earth that I can't do it. Recently quit my job and was happy, and then hit a stress pocket. I have to regulate and trust. Kai, I understand that too so deeply, because whenever I sold my company, it was like cutting off that thing that I had before. And it was like just putting full trust in this full steam ahead. And so I get that on a very deep level. So like be like what I would tell myself and what I will tell you if I was like looking back at Stephanie like last fall, like love yourself through this moment. Like whenever we are going through these major transformations in our life and deciding that we're going to do something really incredible for ourselves, whether it's like looking at our finances or getting braver or just like creating that dream career or rebranding your dream career, right? It can be so easy to like go into that overwhelm spiral, and like you really have to be willing to be gentle with yourself through it in your body. Even though you're going to be taking action and you're going to be moving, like being gentle with yourself in your body, the way you breathe, the way you hold yourself, and knowing that it's so small. This moment, even though it feels really big and it feels scary and sometimes it feels overwhelming, it will be a blink on the entire trajectory of your life. It's just this bloop, like it'll be that bloop, but that bloop changes everything on the other side of it. So it's almost just like, can you buckle up and just love yourself through this moment? It's normal. It's like, it's so normal to feel uncomfortable being an entrepreneur online. Like shit is not going to feel airy fairy magical rainbow all the time. But on the other side of it, there's way more of that than what you had before, than like your life before. But like we're humans and we experience emotions. I know my line 5 doesn't go into emotions very much. Like the line 5s can sometimes be perceived as cold, they say, because we're just like, oh, okay, like I know we have to be human, but can we move on? Like, and so if you're a 5, you can probably relate with me. But and why it's draining whenever you're trying to be too emotional. But it really is one of those things that like whenever we just like let ourselves see this for what it is, it's just a moment. And like our feelings and our feelings don't have to be forever. Like our thoughts don't have to always be correct. Like just because you're having a thought doesn't make it real. And really to become an online business owner that creates incredible success, you're going to have all of the feelings. You're going to move through all of the things and you're going to come out the other side whenever you decide like you're not just dating your business, you're married to it. It is something that you love. It is something that feels like a deep reverence for like this is the thing that you get to create through. And just love yourself through this moment, Kai. I know exactly how that feels. And like, I just want you to know that like you are safe to pursue the things that make you happy. Oh, I'm glad you liked that. I'm like I'm still duh, duh, duh. I'm not actually like looking at Gene Keys live on here anymore. I haven't done like the mini readings for a while because truly I every now and again I'll offer like I did with this Voxer like for a no-brainer price. So it's $120. You get a two-part masterclass that I recorded about content and an hour Voxer session with me. So that's really a no-brainer. But really what I try to do with my Gene Keys is something totally different. And I love to help people map out their business. And it's not just like, hey, I'm Stephanie, I'm going to read all your Gene Keys. Like I want to tell you the specific things that are going to move the needle forward for you in your business, like how you can show up, how you can speak, what kind of energy will serve you the best in your business, how you can brand yourself. Like, I really think about this as a high end experience because I don't know about you, but like, I've invested in things like thousands of dollars in things that were like, oh, that was okay. But like, I'm very confident in what I do will absolutely change the trajectory of your life. So like, I don't do just $200 readings. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel like that's who I am. I love to curate an experience to help people have these foundations to really grow. But yeah, every now and again, I'll just drop these like really fun hour-long sessions that if my energy feels like excited and stirring and purring, so like Nicole jumped on that because she is very intelligent. Like she has a whole week of Gene Keys coming up right now. But whenever I feel called to like do those kinds of readings, I will. But like my bigger thing is like not only like what are these Gene Keys, but how can you use them to make money? Like that's a big thing for me. It's it's something when you're a 5, just because you can do something doesn't mean that you have to. You have to curate it in a way that feels really good to your soul. I'm glad you got through the sweaties. Yeah, Wendy, I totally did. I'm kind of like sweaty even right now, like just from talking and moving, like that happens. Get big vulnerability hangovers after I post my deeper videos. Oh my gosh. Like, here's the thing. It does feel uncomfortable at first, but like the more you do it, you make it an art form. It becomes like your craft. And that doesn't mean like, I want you to know, Kai, you don't have to like, just because you lead with your heart and your emotions, it doesn't mean you have to spill your guts all the time. So if it feels overly done, like, is there a way to bring it back? Is there a way to simplify the message that it is that you're sharing? Because at the end of the day, with that, I think you said you're a 4/6, like you have this Care Bear energy. And so you can present people with the issue that you had, how you solved it, and then explain it. But this is like without having to go through like riding the emotional roller coaster of what it felt like. It's actually standing up straight and saying, this is what I've learned. And so that will keep you from feeling that vulnerability hangover because I know exactly how that feels. I did a post one time back whenever I was trying to be like overly emotional. And I talked about the fact that I used to be a cheater. I was somebody that was like constantly seeking attention from other people. And like I used to be a bartender and I even ended up working in a business where it was like me and 40 guys. And like like all throughout whenever I was younger, I grew up in a cheating family, but like I just always wanted attention from somebody else. And so even like me opening up this right now, like I've never talked about this on one of my lives before, but I remember the feeling of like I thought that I had to put myself on blast and be like, and this is what I learned and blah 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 blah. But then I would feel that hangover so deeply of like, did I like need to like ride that whole roller coaster and feel that to that extreme? Because was there a way that I could have delivered that in an even easier way for my energy, or even like for you to be spiritual and for you to be like groundbreaking? You don't have to like air out everything in your life. And I feel like that's where the shadow work world gets confused. And I know because I came from it, I think that's where it gets confused, of like this obsession of fixing our past instead of, I am a leader. This is something I experienced, I learned, and how I apply it to my work now. Like there's a totally different vibe rather than like, this is all the things versus like, this is what I've learned. So I hope that helps because I get it. Mama. I haven't decided how long that special price is available. I would probably say I'll bring it in and out through the month of July. But here's the thing, at the end of the day, I'm a big believer. Hey, Epiphany. I'm a big believer that the faster we get this information, the better. Like the faster that you learn, like there in my brain, there is no reason to wait for these kinds of things if you have the ability not to, because the sooner that you get that engine, every time I snap, it like shakes the thing. The sooner that you get that engine, that creative juices, and say yes to yourself up and rolling, the more comes through. So I'm always like a big believer of like, don't wait for things that are good for you, that are going to change your life. Steph, for the 1-to-1 hour Voxer, is it texting or call? So I use the Voxer app. And so it's kind of like a little walkie talkie. So you just like ask your questions about your business, about my experience in business, about how we creatively riff through your gene keys. We'll probably focus in on like 1 or 2 of your gene keys that are going to be really potent for your business, blend it with the things that you're passionate about. And so I hold my Voxer like pretty much in my hand while I'm texting and like posting other things, but I'm just like answering through that hour. Like that hour is me being dedicated to you. I love it. I love it. So make sure you go sign up for that. And honestly, not only just the Voxer, but like that masterclass to me is like absolute liquid gold. Like if you know, this is where I was at, where like I knew I needed to post every day for my business, but I felt like a dry well with content creativity. And it felt awful. I'll be honest. I wanted to slam my head in my computer. I wanted to cry. I wanted to throw up. Like all the feelings that I felt about the lives, I experienced with the content too. This is why I teach about this now, because I'm like, let me help you not have such a hard time, right? Let me help you make this a joyful experience. And so I just believe that this Keys to Content masterclass was like, I was recording it and I felt like I was on fire. Like I was like all lit up because I'm like, this shit is going to change somebody's life about the way that they show up in their content creation. I don't know about you, but like I'm a big templates girl. Like even if I don't go exactly by like what, like almost like Mad Libs, like fill in the blank, even if I don't go exactly by what that thing is, that sparked 76 different ideas. And so the first day of that Keys to Content masterclass, I talk about the human design and gene key profile lines and how you can use yours to really like shine in your business and use your energy correctly. We have like a little ceremony in the first day because I have to bring a little bit of energy juice into it, right? We have like a little ceremony where it's all about like plugging yourself into this like incredible source that runs through you. And so that's the first day. And then the second day was all about these lickety split content prompts and ideas that you can use and start implementing in your business right away. And actually the funniest thing about that is like a lot of the ideas that come through that can be used directly on Threads too, is the weirdest thing. Like I created this masterclass and I was like, I've literally been preparing for Threads for a month and a half and I had no idea it existed. So that, and then you get that one-on-one hour with me. So make sure you sign up because I love coaching people. I love activating energy. I love bouncing off creative ideas with each other. And I know how beneficial it's been for me and my business having another person's eyes on it, much less like if you can just have that hour of packed, potent fun, like nothing's ever going to be the same. So I was thinking that this session will feel like marriage counseling for me and my business. Nicole, I love that. It's been so funny. I've been referring to my relationship with my business as a marriage lately. So it's funny because like a lot of people call it their babies. Like I see that people have plenty of opinions on if you're supposed to do that or not. For me, I call myself a late blooming Capricorn. I have Capricorn in my midhaven. Although I don't play with like astrology talk as much as I used to, I found because I'm in my 30s that like I'm aware of my midhaven, right? And so I used to be somebody that was kind of like airy fairy, like floating around woo woo spirituality. And now I'm very anchored into like this CEO energy of like the business that I'm creating and I'm building and I'm obsessed with it. So like I love business and I love thinking about it as a marriage between me and this energy that wants to be channeled through me. So, yes, marriage counseling session for me and my business. Hi, Amy. Yes, that helps. Ba-ba-ba. Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. One of my favorite things, this actually came from my business mentor. Like right when I started working with her, she was answering somebody's question about imposter syndrome. And she's like, oh my goodness, like imposter syndrome just keeps happening because we just keep talking about it. And I think it's so true. Sometimes, like what we focus on expands. And so it's like everybody feels like they're an imposter now. And like, it's like, no, like you're going to feel different whenever you start deciding to pull up your bootstraps and see yourself as the authority, see yourself as the expert. But that doesn't mean that you're wrong. Like you're going to have feelings like just about, oh, yeah. My birthday is October 18th. I had to think about that for a second. We must be very close then, Steph, if we're both like the same age too. That's funny. But it's one of those things that, where was I going? Where was I just at? I got so excited about our birthday stuff. Oh, imposter syndrome. I'm glad I had it right there in front of my face. It's one of those things like it's going to be uncomfortable whenever we're doing something new at first. Like nobody other than like those child geniuses that sit at a piano and know how to read them or know how to read them, know how to play them. Are just like brilliant at something from the beginning. Like even though in my gene keys it specifies like, hey, you're really good with your voice. My voice was shaky and it cracked at first and it was uncomfortable. And I was like, who am I to be talking about people using their voice and being brave whenever I don't feel brave all the time? It's like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's more about you're that like, if you think about like 50-50, if you're just like 51% versus 49% more on yourself, it'll build and you just start to like acquire this track record of success over and over and over again of like, I'm alive on the other side of this. Oh my God, I changed somebody's life. Oh my God, somebody paid me. Oh my God, like I feel really good at teaching this. And it just keeps growing. It keeps growing. And gate 10. Oh, you're asking about gate 10. Oh, okay. I just purchased the Gene Key book and I literally just got on TikTok and Huron. Oh my God. I literally love whenever stuff plays out like that. Rosie, there's been so many people that have told me that exact same thing. They're like, I just bought the book. Like I just found out what Gene Keys are and I found you. I'm so glad that you're here. Like, welcome, welcome. Make sure you follow me over here and you follow me on Instagram too. Ooh, I'm going to pick so many synchronicities. Yeah. But gate 10, that is all about like, I really think about this one. It's funny because I always get this image in my mind and it's literally this person on this hot air balloon and the hot air balloon has a heart. And like, I just see this person like soaring through life and like, you're really a natural whenever you have this gate 10 and it's all about self-love truly. And whenever you can like focus in on like whatever it is that you are like providing a service for people, it comes back to a place of self-love and it comes back to a place of like teaching other people how to love themselves and feel comfortable in their skin. But yeah, that's a really good cue off for the imposter syndrome too. It's like you're not going to feel like a 10 out of 10 whenever you start things. But the more that you build these things, and this is like what Alex Hermosi talks about a lot. I don't know if you've ever seen him. Like he's like this big buff, like multimillionaire. And he talks about the fact he's like, you have to keep taking action, and then you build this whole catalog of undeniable evidence of your successes, and you see yourself as this thriving person. So like in the beginning it can feel kind of scary. You know what's funny is in the beginning of my business I had to like pull through the pieces of my past where I did succeed. And like the funniest memory came through for me whenever I was 13 years old. Like it was like the time where everybody was like trying to leave people's tonsils in. I don't know if they're still doing that, but like trying to like leave kids' tonsils in instead of taking them out. And like my mom worked for the doctor's office and she was like, somebody has strep throat like 5 times a year. Can we please get these tonsils out? And he kept saying, no, no, no. And then finally she's like, this kid's missing too much school. Like we got to get these mofos out. And so I was 13 years old, which usually kids get them out whenever they're younger. But I remember having this memory whenever I started my business. I was reading this book called Psycho-Cybernetics. Yay, we have another new student. Ah! Oh my God. You guys, I'm so excited. Oh, I cannot wait. Who was that? Who else signed up? I know we got Nicole. Oh, you're going to book? Was that you, Steph? Ah! We are going to have so much fun. So much fun. Oh, this is my happy dance. Okay, where was I? This is whenever I get, yes, girl. I offer classes all the time. Right now, what I have in my little back pocket at this moment is there's an event coming up this weekend where it's me and 3 other business owners. There's Brandy Yates, who does human design. There is Kelsey, she's the manifesting scientist. So she does the actual science behind manifestation. And then Pearl Cece, who does mindset and health. And we have a 2.5-hour online business retreat this Saturday, and that's $55. Make sure you are in that because that is like such a no-brainer where you get 4 mini courses as one from like industry leading teachers. So make sure you go sign up for that. Whenever you sign up, you get linked into our Facebook group. And I just posted some groovy stuff on there today. And also right now I have a 2-part pre-recorded masterclass that's all about using these gene keys for content inspiration. And so this really gets your creative engine revved up. And also with that 2-part masterclass, I give you an hour of Voxer voice note coaching where we sit there. It's like a little walkie-talkie for an hour and just bounce creative ideas. You ask me questions about your business and I give you guidance so that you can have actionable moves that you can go take in your online business. Oh, yeah. Well, even if you do decide to sign up, Rosie, for that, I'm going to put the recording, and this goes for anybody that's listening. I'm going to put the recording in that Facebook group. So even if you aren't able to attend the event this Saturday, and be in your little cozy slippers and drink your lemonade or coffee or whatever, it'll probably be coffee for me because it'll be like 8 a.m. my time, but it starts 11 a.m. Eastern time. Even if you aren't able to make it live, like I said, it's $55 and you have the recording for as long as Facebook exists. So that's where I put a lot of my stuff is on Facebook. And so, yes. And if that event isn't the heck yes, and you want to learn more about that masterclass, I have the link to that masterclass or the link to the event right in my bio. So make sure you go sign up because this is part of the no-brainer summer of like get as many people in this Gene Key world as possible, like build this community up, because whenever I came across Gene Keys, nothing existed. Like nothing existed. And it sounds so crazy because like now a lot more human design readers are talking about Gene Keys. And a lot of the times I've already hung out with them and done like interviews with them about the Gene Keys, but nobody was talking about it. It felt very mystic and felt very secretive whenever I came across it. And I literally went troll mode and I just like studied it for like 4 to 6 months nonstop. And then eventually just realized I needed to start teaching on it. And so I love to teach on it. in ways to help you build your confidence. So I just had a course that I released last month that was called Keys to Confidence. And it was about using the gene keys and all of the actions that you can take to really get confident online. I have that masterclass about content. I have a Decode Your Keys course that I run a couple times a year now, where it's all about like learning how to read the actual gene keys. So that's going to be something that like these courses just keep building upon each other. And every single thing that I learn, I turn around and I love to teach. I love to mix the gene keys in with it, because like if I'm feeling excited about something, it's for a reason. Like somebody else needs to learn it. And then when you sprinkle in the gene keys on top of it too, and you understand how your energy works, you understand what like makes you a unicorn, what makes you a genius, like you have this new layer of confidence, this new like level of confidence that you haven't ever experienced before. I went to class to learn to read my gene keys in human design. So I don't focus on the human design aspect of it, but whenever Decode Your Keys comes back out, just make sure you follow me over on Instagram too. And if you go through my stories, you'll always be able to see my offers and stuff like that. So whenever Decode Your Keys comes back out, or I think I even have a link where you can like get the pre-recorded things, because there's a few more things that I'm going to sprinkle in for that class that I recorded in May. This is what I'm talking about with over delivering people. Like I still have like things that I'm going to give to people that were in a class back in May that I'm like, oh, I'm so excited to give this to them. So yeah. Yes. I have lots of different stuff. I love this. I think I was talking about something else before. I think I was talking about Alex Hermosi, and then I got excited because Rosie asked a question. I love that though. Yay, Steph. I'm so excited we get to work together. Steph and Steph. And Love Light Unite. Yes, the event will be recorded so that you can refer back to it whenever. Like I said, it's got 4 of us teaching in there, so it's basically 4 master classes in one. I actually had somebody on Brandy and I's live yesterday ask a really good question, and she's like, "Is this gonna just be like the intro to Gene Keys, the intro to human design?" And from my perspective, I was like, "No, I'm actually gonna like get into the nitty gritty and talk about aspects of like how you show up with your branding on Gene Keys." So it's not even just like the things that you already know. There's going to be a lot of stuff that you don't. And then mixed into it is like each one of our stories, how we came across this information. I'm a big believer whenever we hear people's stories, it clicks for us in a different way as well. But Rosie, I hope you have a beautiful shift on Saturday. What is the difference between subconscious moon gene key versus conscious moon gene key for inner drive? You know, they often say that your unconscious is the one that other people see in you, but I'm such a big believer of like, we have this information laid out in front of us so that we can learn more about ourselves and so we can bring more of that to the surface. I think your unconscious moon gene key, if I'm not mistaken, or yeah, the unconscious moon is in the actual gene key chart too. So you're going to see that in there as well. I'm trying to remember. Is that the attraction? I think it's the attraction gene key that the moon, the unconscious moon represents. But I've just always been this big believer that like, you know, the moon is the emotions. And so like, that's where you're going to feel really fulfilled. And so instead of thinking about these two things as separate, I love to see them as like, how do I blend these ideas in my belly? Like, how do I blend these ideas in my mind and like give attention to both of those things? So if I'm not mistaken, I have my YouTube live going on right now. If I'm not mistaken, my unconscious moon is the 15, and I think that my conscious moon is the 32. I have so many damn 32s, and this is my golden year. That's my birthday, but I have so many freaking 32s in my chart. It's crazy. But so I let both of those things like complement each other. So there's a lot about the 15 being like walking on the wild side, doing things that are brave, doing things that are like scary to other people, and like coming back and telling the story. So whenever I honor that side of me and I don't like put her down for like wanting to be brave and wanting to take leaps of faith, I'm like, I feel really good in my emotions and I can help other people with their emotions. And then also that 32, that's like, I know that about myself where like that 15, I kind of like, I get to buddy up and take on a date, I get to like get to know her better. But that 32 is just like so in me, which the 32 in my brain it's called the success oracle. And it's all about like, you just have this knowing of what's going to be successful for yourself and other people. And it's just like instantaneous, like knowing, but also understanding success versus failure mindset. And so like that has been a big thing that like I nurture my emotions by putting all of my eggs in the basket of success. And so people have asked me before, they're like, is that toxic positivity? And I'm like, get out of here with that BS. Like that is not what this is about. I am a jar of sunshine. Like I just decided that that's what I get to be because that's what I choose. That's what lights me up. But it's I call it success orientation. And so whenever I acknowledge this success orientation inside myself and I decide to put all of my eggs in the basket of what I want to be successful, that's whenever I feel emotionally nurtured as well. Instead of circling the drain of all the failures, whenever I put all of my eggs in the basket of like, this is going to work out, like it changes my energy, it changes my imprint in this world and how I hold myself. And so I feel good emotionally. So that's what I always think about with those moons. I don't do the live readings as much anymore, Willow. I was just talking about this where I love to like curate this space where we go over your branding. We're like, this isn't something that you can get done anywhere with anyone else because I don't like to just traditionally read the gene keys anymore. Just because I can doesn't mean that like that's what lights my soul on fire. So like I love sitting down with you and having this like beautiful, I think of it as like this portal, like you come into this space. I show you all of the things that are your strengths and your superpowers and how you can brand yourself, how you can use your voice to make money in your business. And then you take that information and you go run with it. It's like a business map. And so that's what I love doing. So that is under the business consult and in the link in my bio. That's about to get a little bit of a makeover too, because I'm bringing my like silly side into my business. So I'm ready to expand my business. So conscious moon gate is 29. The energy for saying yes. Oh, I do love that 29. I also think about that 29. The first person that I came across that had that, she's a hypnotherapist. Her name's Addison Bowen. She was actually going to be a part of this event, but she is going to the Taylor Swift concert. So I was like, girl, you come to the next one. You come speak at the next one. But so we had done a live together a while ago and I love her, but she reminds me so much of this mermaid of like she's willing to like dive deep to like bring up the gold for everybody else. So like you're just not a surface level person either. Like you are willing to go down to those shadowy depths sometime to like bring up the absolute gems. Being motivated by love of people. Yeah. Yeah. And so it's so interesting. Like I was talking about at the very beginning of this, I want people to know, like, if you have something that you're like, I could teach on this, but like, it doesn't light you up. I want you to know that just because you know that thing doesn't mean that you have to teach on that thing. Just because that's what you have experience with before doesn't mean that that's what you have to do. Like these gene keys for me opened up a different side of myself that I wasn't giving myself credit for knowing these things. It like showed me my secret superpowers, my secret sauce that I just wasn't aware of. Because like I could have been, so I'm 6 years sober. I don't talk about that often because that's like not who I'm attracting, right? And even if there's people that come into my world that are like, oh my God, me too. It's a different energy than like, I've just got sober. You know what I mean? And so just because I navigated through that and I came out the other side and like I'm freaking obsessed with life now, doesn't mean that that's the problem that I have to solve, right? Like just because you know how to do something or just because you experience something doesn't mean that that's what you do. I thought I was going to be a psychic medium for the rest of my life. And like I always am a psychic medium. That's just like literally in my blood. But I thought I was going to speak to dead people for the rest of my life. Like if you would have asked me a year and a half ago, like that's what I was doing. I was speaking to people who had crossed over and I was having really incredible experiences that were like so undeniable. These conversations with people that had crossed over, I was just like, oh my God, like like I'm Teresa Caputo. Like this is what I'm going to do forever. And after doing it for a while, and it was amazing. I loved it, but there was still a part of me that felt like off about it. And I very much felt like I was getting pushed from the other side of like, can you see that we're cool over here? Like, we aren't the ones that need help. It's the people that are alive. And so just because I have that skill set in my belt doesn't mean that that's what I have to teach on. And so I turned from focusing on all of the dead people to like helping people that were alive to live their best life while we're here, because of what that made me realize. What I learned from that was that our life is a blink. So you might as well whoop it up while you're here and do the shit that you love, because that's what we're here for, to have as much fun as we possibly can, right? This is literally how I'm feeling, because I can channel during tarot readings, but it just doesn't. Steph, I used to read tarot. I used to do all the energy updates. I feel like I'm solely here to do that. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to talk about this. Yeah. I used to do tarot, and I thought like there was a part of me that thought I was going to do that forever, right? Like I still have my little people, my little decks, like right over here. I got some people over there on my bookshelf, right? There was one deck that I gave away to. I have a 7-year-old brother, and he loves Pokemon right now. Awesome. But he got obsessed with like the crystals in Pokemon. So like I've been like slowly giving him my old crystals. And then like I had a crystal oracle card deck that I gave to him that had all the different names of the crystals. So I feel like I'm slowly here to do that. Yeah. I love how I learned about numerology, Western astrology, Vedic astrology, so many rabbit holes. Yes. And I feel like, okay, this is like ballsy, but I kind of feel like the gene keys for me, and spiritual peeps, you will understand this. It's just like the rabbit hole to end the spirituality rabbit hole. Like I felt like I was in this twister of spirituality whenever I was doing just the tarot and the energy channeling, and I was picking up everything outside of me, rather like angel numbers, there's a rabbit, what does this mean, blah blah blah. I was like waiting on everything else outside of me, rather than me deciding what it is that I want, trusting the genius that literally moves through me and is animating me, and deciding that I get to set the tone for my life. And like, I know that that's totally crazy, but like, I decided last year, I started calling myself a retired empath. I was scared to death to talk about how shadow work cock blocks our success, but like, because I used to teach it. But on the other side of this, like when you trust yourself to evolve out of regular spirituality and understand that like it isn't a pool that you have to live in for forever, it's something that you like swim through and then you come up the other side. I feel like these gene keys are like they show you what your higher qualities are and how you can thrive. And so I feel a lot of people that have spiritual businesses or spirit, like anything like that, they're attracted to this because they're on the precipice of their next big like rebrand and who they're becoming in their life. Yeah. Definitely feeling like I went off the hamster wheel. Yeah, I stopped doing the Mercury retrograde. Like I used to make the cutest memes back in the day for Mercury retrograde. They had like My Little Pony and like Care Bears and shit. And like I used to do it all. I'd write all the posts about the masculine and the feminine energy and blah 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 blah. Blah. And something happened last year, and it scared me to let go of my intuitive gifts the way that I knew them, because I had just developed it so strongly with like speaking to people that had crossed over and done all of those readings, and like felt very witchy, like come into that part of myself. But like something inside of me was like, this still ain't right. Like there's still something off here. And the way that people are teaching this is getting people stuck in the drain of spinning around and around again. And I didn't want to be on that roller coaster anymore. And so I almost like I remember making the decision to let go of how my intuition worked so that like a new version of Stephanie could be reborn. And that was like through the help of my gene keys, through it showing me like what I was good at. And so that like gave me something to hold on to while that transition happened. And I literally, my intuition has never been clearer. Like I am a supercomputer now, and it's effing crazy in the best way possible. But it was because I was willing to let go of picking up on everybody's stuff and start setting the tone for my life. Yep, just because we can doesn't mean we should 100%. I have Gene Key 12 in all three sequences. Kai, I love Gene Key 12 because I'm going to take a sip of water. By the way, I love hanging out with you today. Everybody, like, I'm so glad you're here. This is fun. It's kind of like cloudy here in the desert, and that doesn't usually happen. So I'm like, this is a groovy day to just like sit and chill. Don't mind my squeaky chair. Cool. And especially too, like, I just let you in on something. Like, I just started my period yesterday, and I used to be that bird that like would never do anything whenever I was on my period, right? And like, there's something that happens whenever you just like are fully doing the thing that you know that you're meant to do, that you just like want to show up no matter what. Like if I was feeling crazy weird, I wouldn't, but you know what I mean? Like, I just feel this different approach to like how I show up for life now. Like I don't think the same way that I used to. And it's really, really cool. And so you fall in love with your business in a way that you're like, I want to be there for it. And I want to like show other people what this is about. So it's fun. That 12th gene key, Kai, I always think about, this is so nerdy, but like, I always think about Jerry Seinfeld, and I get to go see Jerry Seinfeld. Like how random. I was a little young for Seinfeld back in the day, the show, but I ended up watching it later on with my husband. I watch his comedian in cars getting coffee. Like it's just funny to hear. Like I think that stand-up comedians have something really special whenever it comes to persistence and deciding like what it is that they want, and like getting up in front of people and having like that star quality, right? That's like something that they have to develop. And so Jerry Seinfeld has that 12th gene key in his pearl. And so I always call the pearl the money-making gene key. And so basically like whenever you're tapped into this energy, the best money-making ideas, squeaky chair, stop squeaking, the best money-making ideas come through. And so Jerry's is the 12, and the 12 is all about having this unique voice. And so he doesn't sound like anybody else. The way that he would like do his stand up, the way that he even speaks, like he doesn't sound like anybody else. And I have the 12 in my business chart, so I had to be very aware of this as well. I don't need to mimic the way that other people talk. And actually, when I do, that's when people would scroll past. Right. And so I need to speak in my own verbiage. I need to speak in my own way. Sometimes I sound like a crazy cartoon rainbow pants whenever I talk. Like I make up words. Like I'm not even kidding. I make up words all the time, but they've become part of my vocabulary. Like I often say, if you would lay out all of my words, like it wouldn't be grammatically correct, but that's me. That's who I am. Like that's my heart and soul sprinkling through my vocal cords. Right. And so you have 12 in 3 places. That's massive. Your voice is huge for you. And so what you have to do is start getting out there and speaking, showing up on camera and doing things like that. Even if like at first you're just like recording your voice over other videos, like it's about building up the strength of this voice and knowing that your voice, it's supposed to cut through the night like a knife. Like it's supposed to cut through and it will be heard by the right people. Beep, beep, beep. So that's my 2 cents on the 12th gene key. But yeah, I feel like the gene keys are like you're in this twister of spirituality, and then the emergency door opens up and you're like, I'm ready to get the fuck out of here. Like I'm ready to go. Here. So yeah, I feel like I'm a big like rule breaker, like anti-authority kind of, like, even though my husband calls me a square sometimes, like I'm still like, I'm kind of stingy whenever it comes to the rules of human design. I was telling Brandy that yesterday, like I'm stingy about like there being any rules with gene keys. Cause I'm like, at the end of the day, this is channeled out information. Your astrology is channeled out information. use it as inspiration, use it as pieces of gold instead of a pin that keeps that wild stallion that is your soul pinned in, you know? So that is like one of my biggest things. I don't have the 57, but I know a lot of people that do. That's all about intuition. Out of all 64 of the gene keys, that one's all about intuition. So I love to call this one, like how I was saying earlier about my intuition being a supercomputer, instead of you being this like mega empath that has to absorb everybody else's stuff, it's reframing your psychic gifts to be used like in a lickety split, drop of the hat kind of moment. Oh, Steph, I'm looking forward to it too. Like, I know that you guys are going to love this double masterclass because it's just, I felt it as I was recording it. I was just like, this is absolute gold. Like, this is so good. And like, it's one of those things, like, I figured it out over months and months and months and tweaked it and did it in my own way. And then it's like, here you go. I got my kitchen dirty. Here's your cupcake. Like, you just take that cupcake. Oh, this is fun. I do love this. Your human design is all undefined. Mine is your heart center and your G center. Steph, that's kind of cool. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody with just those two.
You are a unique little butterfly.
That's how I talk to my cat. R. That's cool. Learning to have energetic boundaries is huge. Yeah. And you know what? Like the best, like I think I was touching on this a little bit earlier, but the best thing about this idea of boundaries is like if you're over giving from that place of like you're doing what you love, it's so different. It's so different. I don't even like think about boundaries the same way now because I'm like, does this feel good? No, then I'm not going to do this. Does that feel good? Yeah, let's do more of it then. Let's see. Like, I don't care what other coaches and other business owners' rules are for their business because I'm different. Like, my energy functions differently. And so, yes, you can learn things from other people, but at the end of the day, same with me. You can learn as much stuff as you want from me, but at the end of the day, like you don't have to do it the way that I do it. Like you're a leader. You are a leader and you get to decide what works best for you. And that's the coolest thing because maybe something that I say, you'll be like, oh, I'll try that. And then you'll be like, oh no, that's not for me. You just learned something. Like you just learned that that actually isn't how it works for you. And so like that's the most beautiful thing. It's really funny. I worked with a business coach who like her and I, our styles and our approaches are very different, but we had one core value that was the same, which is about like taking action and doing incredible things. Like, and so there was a lot of things of hers I would try. And then on the other side of it, I would be like, actually, whenever I make some adjustments, this is how it works best for me. So you do not have like nobody's words are Bible. Like you get to decide what works best for you, but always try things. Always see. Me. Oh, Epiphany Healer. I'm glad. I'm glad you love to be here. Me. Da, da, da. 12 is in your brand. Oh, yeah. So, your brand and your life's work are like two different ways of looking at that same gene key. So it's really cool because that one's all about the energy of your career. Yeah. And I love the IQ. It's funny because a lot like me and Becca Francis had this conversation. She reads human design. She just medium stuff now too over on Instagram. And she's like, you know, I had done the shadow work stuff and she's like, I'll probably never really look into the Venus center. Like, I'm not big on that. And I was like, no, I totally understand. Because whenever I came across gene keys, it was whenever I had already like stepped out of the shadow work phase in my life. And so I already knew a lot of these things. I was like, but there is a lot of juicy wisdom that you can use for your business inside of your Venus sequence, like about the way that your brain works, about the way that your emotions work, like what you want from like that childlike spirit. And she's like, oh my God, now you convinced me to go look at my Venus sequence, Stephanie. So I've always seen these gene keys not as just like for contemplation, but as like a lens to understand your business. That's just how I teach them. And so if you're drawn to that, like cool, but other people could teach them through the lens of like how to have better relationships. Somebody could teach it through the lens of like how to have like a really good health in your body and in your life. Like that's fine. I'm just like spitballing ideas, but I love it through business and I will always see it through business. That's what I'm focused on right now. So that's how I teach it. Me. Other people say. Oh, that makes sense because when you share what other people say, it people don't care. Well, first, I want you to know that like your words are important and you're a cool person. And whenever we start saying things, because remember how I said that I used to talk to families of crickets for a long time? Every time you use your voice, you're getting it stronger. Every single time that you put a piece of content out there and you hold yourself accountable and you're going to do it, you're getting so much stronger and you're getting better and you're getting better for yourself, which in turn will be better for the people that need to hear your message whenever it's just like going to be like that lightning bolt that just like hits them over the head and changes their life. And so one of the things that I love, Kai, and I don't know if you have this gene key or not, and I'm a big believer, hang on. I'm a big believer that like no matter if you have a gene key or not, you can tap into it because we all have all 64 of the gene keys, right? And so whenever I decide something is important, I shine the light on it and I make it grow. So like I worked with a lot of people who had the 26th gene key. This is all about being the hypnotist. This is about being really good at sales. I had come from a background where I used to sell cars, but I thought that like salespeople were bad while I was selling cars. And so there had been a lot of transformation in the way that I viewed sales and the way that I started seeing myself as like, hey, what you have to give and what you have to offer is very valuable. And like, yes, you have to get good at sales to be like, hey, would you like this thing? Right. And so just because I don't have that 26 doesn't mean that I can't shine the light on it and get really, really good at that. Right. And so what I think of whenever you say that, whenever you're talking about sharing what other people say, I think about the 60-second gene key. And I have this one, and whether you have it or not, anybody that's listening, it doesn't matter. With the 60-second gene key, it says very clearly, like once you start using your voice, nothing in your life will ever look the same. And I found that to be the most powerful thing I had ever read. And it changed the trajectory of my life, to be honest with you. But what happens with this 60-second gene key is the fact that like we don't have to teach things the way that other people have to teach them. And in fact, like I go banana pants crazy whenever I see a million people posting about human design the exact same way. I'm like, use different words, like say different things, like picture different pictures in your mind. And like, so that's what I've just always like challenged myself to like, let the idea of something stir and purr in my system and then share it through a story that I've experienced or share it through my understanding. It's the same with how I do for these gene keys. Like I don't sit here with the books and just regurgitate all of the information, right? I don't do that because A, that would be like draining AF, and like B, that's not how I understand it. I understand it differently. And whenever I speak it through my verbiage and my words, I'm opening up the door for so many more people to understand the gene keys, right? And so whenever you just like let those ideas stir and purr in your system and you don't worry about getting it correct, you just say it through your heart, game changer. Undeveloped SQ. I always think about William, the SQ as, and I'm not somebody, I don't focus in on the shadow aspects of it. I had said this a little bit earlier, how I used to teach shadow work and how whenever I came across the gene keys, it was very much of a activation and a turning on these higher qualities. I'm very aware of the things that we need to fix, but like keep your eye on it for a moment and then continue to move forward, like make the adjustments to move. And so what I think about like the underdeveloped SQ is like, what is that thing? How can you tap into it more and bring like that childlike fun to this thing? Like I always think about like the childlike spirit, like the fun little, like what are like, think about how joyful you would be if you like won all of the tickets at like Dave and Buster's or something, or like what the hometown ones that you had whenever you were a kid. like winning all the tickets and you like go up to the booth and you get to pick out all of the different candy, all of the different things that made you excited. Like remember that essence, like that thing that jazzed you up, and like blend that with that gene key. Okay, because it should be something that lights you up. And so you bring that childlike spirit, that thing that you were craving whenever you were like 0 through 7, you bring that thing into your business. Ooh. Oh, wait. Okay. Yours is 31. Okay. I thought that Steph for a second. I thought that we had the same one. No, mine is 33. I have the 31 somewhere else. I was like, Steph, like, do we have a lot of things that are the same? I love the 31. The 31 is all about that leadership. And by the way, that point too, this is huge for people. The point, the decimal behind your pearl is all about your money motivation. And whenever I found out my money motivation, it changed things, because a lot of times we'll see people and business coaches and the things that like maybe they invest in, or the things that these celebrities find important. And we're like, oh, is this what I'm supposed to want? Is that what I'm supposed to want? And not that you are limited to just the thing that's in your gene keys, but use it as a jumping off point, use it as inspiration. And with that point too, you crave recognition. And a lot of times people hear that and be like, ah, because like you're like feral cat, like we're told like it's bad to win attention whenever we're young and stuff like that. And that couldn't be further from the truth, because you crave recognition and attention because you have something that is going to be so life-changing for other people that you got to get your butt in the spotlight. That's what it is. So that too craves to be seen. That too wants people's eyes on them. And whether you feel that right now or not, like understand that that's a big motivator. That's a big motivator, and see how you feel about that. See where you can take it from there, because you have this drive to be seen for a reason. Like I think that a lot of people that become famous, that end up doing really good things, they have this as well, because they like think that they want to be famous and do all this acting and stuff. And it's like, actually what that acting gave them was like a way to express themselves creatively for their art, but B, like a platform to stand on. So
be aware of that.
Oh, Nana, that's a good question. So I love to think about the human design and gene key systems as being married. Brandy Yates and I were having this conversation last night, and I talk about her all the time. I'm such a nerd, which by the way, I haven't mentioned for a couple minutes. If you want to be a part of our online event this Saturday, we're doing an online business retreat. It's like a 2.5-hour thing where you get to learn all about human design, the gene keys, the science behind manifestation, and health and mindset for your business. It's a $55 no-brainer. And so Brandy's going to be there with me. She's starting it off and I'm closing it out. So I'm really excited. So make sure if you want to learn more about those things, we're going to be diving deep into those topics and just having these like fun little lessons around them too. But I see gene keys and human design as just like they're connected in this way, because Richard Rudd, who channeled out the gene keys, actually, he studied under Ra Uru, who came up with the human design, who channeled out human design. And Richard Rudd also studied like the I Ching and all these other religions of the world. And so truly, whenever I see the gene keys, I literally just think about it as like they grab the information from the human design chart, they grab it from the astrology chart, and they plop it down into a little bit different of places. They put a bit of a different mask on it to deepen it, to go into more depth with your understanding of it. So even a lot of the things that I learned about gene keys, I truly learned through human design, because there's so little information out there that I gobbled up all of these other systems to help me have like that bigger view of it. I call it the kitchen sink approach, where I like learned all of these different things and then I let stir and purr in my system and then shared it through my own voice, kind of like with the 60-second gene key we were talking about. I love whenever TikTok tells me, they're like, good job, you've been going live for 90 minutes. Hi, Fallen. Yay. Ooh, 62's in your IQ. Beautiful. Oh, I got to scroll back up.
Where were we at? Where were we?
Love it so much. Oh, Epiphany. I love the 61. how they say that people have like whenever they're being lovey-dovey, they wear rose-colored glasses. Well, I always picture the 61 as like indigo colored glasses or like purple colored glasses because like you see everything through like this there's something bigger behind it kind of way, and like you're hungry for answers, and like you really do love solving the life's greater mysteries. This is like a mystic's energy, and so I love talking about these kinds of gene keys, but also like how you can bring that mystic energy down into the earth and create something really cool from that, because we're not just airy fairy here. We take those great ideas and we bring them down into earth. I had somebody in my course, whenever we were talking about the review of this course, I love to ask people questions at the end because I'm like, what did you learn? Like, what can we do? Like, how do we make it better? And she told me 3 different times about how there was so much practical wisdom in there. And like she said practical like 3 times. And I was like, I wouldn't have known how, like, I would have never been considered somebody that was practical back in my airy fairy days. And like the fact that she gave me that compliment 3 times, I was like, this is juicy. And I love this because I love like not only helping people get their energy in the right place, but like actually how to take action. Because like you can be the grooviest person in the world, but if you don't know what moves to make, like what the banana pants are you doing? You know? So practical. So I love talking about that. Gate of the unknown. Ooh. Let it purr through me. This is what I'm talking about. Falling with like my own language. That it's just from like getting on and repeating it over and over again, like repeating my own words in my own way. So I always say like, let it stir and purr in your system, like stir and purr. Probably because I have 2 cats too, but I have 2 cats and a corgi. But yeah, it's just like part of my verbiage now. I use it all the time. And so like whenever you come here and you hang out with me, you hear me speaking different ways than other people speak. So like that's very important for our business. That's very important for your business, is that you don't have to edit yourself to like be somebody perfect. You get to just speak through your own voice, and it will get stronger and stronger and stronger as you do it. I'm glad you like that though. Stella. Time to get comfortable in front of the camera, Steph. Oh my God. Yes. Oh my gosh. I might have to even put my my Keys to Confidence course on sale again. Like it's already been recorded, but like there's 6 modules of just goodness of how to get confident on camera and how to like show up on your Instagram, how to show up on your TikTok, like the gene keys that you can use to turn on your confidence. I might have to like put that back out there for fun because I don't know when the next time I'm going to run that one, but you have 4 cats and 2 dogs. That's a lot of people. I always grew up falling with, is it Fallon? Fallon. I always grew up with like at least 6 animals at once because we lived out on a farm. And so there was just always like barn cats and like crazy dogs. Like that was just how it was. My husband and I, what's so funny, we have the 3 now, but we're almost like, okay, I always thought that I was going to have like a farm whenever I got older, but now just to like feed the cats twice a day, I like put down their bowls. I'm like, oh, like, and so like my husband and I have talked, we're like, we might take a break after this round. And I never thought I would have been the person that like might not have an animal, but, and that wouldn't be forever, but you know, like maybe just like make travel a big thing for a while after this round of soldiers. Oh, I never thought, oh, kids too. Oh my goodness. You want to do that class too? Yeah. I'll probably put that class at something like, since it's not live, I don't want to say just yet. I'll decide. It'll be something that's like, yes, like no duh. Like I need, like, this is going to change the trajectory of my business kind of price. Yeah. I have 2 ones, so I got to sit with it. But yeah, I just finished up that class. And by the way, anytime you take a live class with me as well, like there is always where I give extra love and extra time together. So make sure that you're like aware of my courses as I drop them. And if you want to learn more about these Gene Keys and get a good taste and like have really like an hour that changes the trajectory of your business, make sure you go sign up for my Keys to Content that's double masterclass. So it's already pre-recorded. And then we also get a live like 1 hour Voxer session where I get to coach you for an hour, like through a walkie-talkie, basically. So it's $120. If this is something that you're like, I want guidance and I want it now, like I would love to learn how to get even better with my business, like go sign up for that. That is a no-brainer, my friend. I've already got 2 of you that are joining me for this week. And then we also have the event on Saturday that's $55. Like these are no-brainer investments for your business. And like, I just want to make this as accessible to as many people as possible during the summer because it's such a good thing to learn for your business. Like this is the life-changing information. And like, I'm not even going to downplay it and act like it's not, because like, I believe fully that what I have is the Holy Grail. I believe fully that like the way that I teach it is different than anybody else in the world. And so that excites me. And that makes me be like, ooh, whenever somebody's drawn to my stuff, it's for a reason, because they're going to take this and run with it. So make sure you go sign up for that, because these are not things that I do all the time. They're not things that I do all the time. The event is at Eastern time. It is 11 a.m. Eastern time on Saturday. And if you are not able to make it to that live event, I will have the recording put up on that Facebook page for you to look at and listen to anytime you want. So that has Brandy Yates, who reads Human Design. She's going to be talking. It has Kelsey, who is the manifesting scientist. She was a chemical engineer, and she comes from that background of actual science, how she teaches manifestation. Super cool. I have Pearl, who is all about mindset and health. And she is literally like one of those people. I got to meet her in Vancouver this spring. And she's one of those people, like we were on this party bus and she was like dancing, and like you can't take your eyes off of her because she's like literally like so healthy and radiant and glowing. So I was like, I have to have Pearl come talk about health and mindset. She's the best. And then I'm going to be talking about Gene Keys. So it's basically 4 mini courses in one. And then the other thing that I was talking about, and that's $55. $55 make you holla. But the other thing I was talking about was my double masterclass that's already pre-recorded. It's all about using the Gene Keys to rev up your content creation. And then you get a 1 hour one-to-one Voxer session with me, which is like banana pants crazy. Banana pants. All righty. Oh, so excited, Nicole. I know, Steph, Nicole, I'm going to message you after this. I think I had added something about your IG handle so I can send you a little calendar to schedule your stuff. Oh, I cannot wait. But make sure you sign up for that that event this Saturday. Make sure you sign up for this double masterclass with the one-to-one coaching. This is going to be so much fun. I can't wait. All right, my belly is hungry. I can't believe I've almost been talking for 2 hours. I like this time of day, by the way. I think that like for a very long time, I was like, oh, I need to get on early or I need to do this. But like for me, my ideal schedule is like right now, I wake up at 5:30 in the morning so that I can run 2 miles. I like taught myself how to run in the past couple of months. And I'm like, I guess I'm a runner now. But I run, I do some like Pilates, I take a shower, and then I sit on the couch and I watch this course that I had gotten, this big long course. And I just like sip my coffee and I watch this course and I post like a million posts. I have like a million post ideas come through. And then I get around to like putting on my makeup and getting on lives. And so like, I love this time of day. I love hanging out in like the mid-afternoon. And so like, I'm always around here if you ever want to join me, friend. But make sure you follow me over here. Make sure you follow me over on Instagram. And you always check out my Instagram stories because that's where I put all of my offers, all the things that are going on, and pictures of my animals because they get to be part of the show sometimes too. So long that I have no idea how to find my chapter. And then thank you. Oh, you are so welcome. But I hope that you have the most beautiful day. Make sure you go to that link in bio and you sign up for the event. You sign up for the Keys to Content Masterclass with the one-to-one. And I will talk to you later. Bye-bye. Thank you for being here today. I'm so glad that we got to talk. This is, yay, we have another new student. Ah! Oh, I'm so excited. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, this is so fun. Okay, I hope you have the most beautiful day. If you are seeing this after July 15th, that is okay, cool. Or that's okay too, because there's just going to be a bunch of cool stuff that I put out all the time. And I would love to have you in this Gene Key world. So enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.